Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Azul International School's virtual class. Today's class is an English class. We'll be reading the story Atlantis together. But before starting with the story and answering the questions, I want to remind you with what genre is. Genre is the style of writing. We have many styles. We have fiction, we have mystery, we have non-fiction. This style of writing is a legend story, meaning it is a traditional story about a people or land. It is a story that has happened years ago, okay? It is very old and it is traditional, meaning that it is passed from one person to another. But a legend story did not happen in real life. So this story in particular didn't happen in real life, and this is what a legend story is. It consists of made-up characters. The characters are not real, the events are not real. It is just a traditional story, okay? So the first question tells you what is the genre of the story. It is a legend story. Now let's start reading the story together. First, there was chaos. From chaos sprang earth and heaven. Now chaos means that there was a mess, there was problems. And from this chaos, there was earth. From them came the race of titans. Now from there was the race of titans, meaning the rulers, okay? The people who would give rules, who would give orders. Examples of rulers like the kings, okay? Kings. They are rulers as well. So there were two of them, Coronis and Rhea, seized power and ruled over all. Seized that they had, seized here means that they had the power and they gave orders. Their son Zeus overthrew them. Their son took the power, okay, from them. Then he and his brothers divided up the world. To Zeus went the heavens. Zeus took the heavens. To Hades, the realms of the dead. He took the realms of the dead, the kingdom of the dead. While the seas and oceans went to mighty Poseidon. Poseidon took the seas, okay? This is an example of a sea, and oceans is larger than the sea. Went to mighty Poseidon, who promised to guard the waters with care. He promised that he will take care of the water and the sea and the place that he took. So we have three brothers, okay? Zeus first took power instead of his parents, and he divided the world, where Zeus took the heavens, Hades took the realms of the dead, and Poseidon took the seas and oceans. Floating on one of Poseidon's emerald seas was a small rocky island. One of the seas of Poseidon there was a small rocky island, an island that had rocks. Like this. This is an island where there are rocks. Okay. This was in one of the seas of Poseidon. Didn't we say that he took the seas? So this was in one of the seas. Few visited its shores, and no one bothered. This is the shore. This is the edge of the sea is called the shore, and no one bothered to give it a name. No one cared to give this place a name. But the sun rose warmly over it each morning and set sleepily behind it every night. Every morning the sun would rise and it would set every night. People wouldn't notice this place. There were people there, but there weren't many people, and they didn't notice that there is an island there. Okay, this small rocky island, they didn't know about it. In the center of the island there stood a mountain. Now right in the center, in the middle, there was a mountain. This is a mountain. And at the foot, here at the foot of the mountain, lived a man called Evenor and his wife Leucippe. Now the man, Evenor, lived there with his wife. They lived happily together, working hard to tend the barren land. They were happy together. And they were working hard to keep this land good, okay? Barren means that it is lifeless. There's no life in it. There's no trees, there's no crop, there's no buildings. It is lifeless. So they took care of this land and brought up their daughter Clyto to honor all creatures. So Clyto was raised, okay, to honor all creatures. Remember what honor is? To respect. They raised her parents, they raised Clyto to respect all creatures. All creatures meaning whether they're sea creatures, whether they're animals, whether they're humans. She has to respect everyone. Now, question number 2 tells you the question says, after reading the first 2 pages, do you think this story is true or made up? And explain why. We can say that most of the story is made up because the characters are not real. Okay, now the characters that we came across while reading, they're not real. And we don't know if Atlantis is real, the place or the story's Atlantis is real. We still didn't carry on with the story. So, we would say that it is made up. The characters are not real. And we do not know if Atlantis is actually real. We didn't continue. We don't know. This is a real story, a real place or not. So this is the answer. Please write it. Now turn the page. Before turning the page, there is question number 3 that tells you what clues tell you that Clyto is a kind character. We said Clyto is the daughter of Evenor and Leucippe. Remember? And they raised her to honor all creatures. So what tells you that she's a kind person? Here, they told you that she was raised to honor all creatures. When someone is raised to respect others, then you can refer to this person as a kind person. Okay, so we can tell that she's good. She's a kind person. So the answer is, Clyto's parents raised her to honor all creatures. When you honor something, you treat it with respect. So here we can tell that she's kind because she was raised to honor all creatures. Please write the answer. Turn the page. Poseidon grew curious. How could they be content with so little? He took on human form and crouched unseen behind a rock to find out. So, he was curious, meaning that he wanted to know, okay, how could this people who are living in the island, this island we said the rocky island, be so content with so little, meaning satisfied, happy. Remember content? How are they happy with so little? They do not have lots of things. We said that it is a land that is lifeless, barren land, remember? So how can they be so happy? He was questioning himself. He took on human form and crouched. Crouch means he bent, okay, on his knees, unseen behind a rock to find out. This is Poseidon. He's crouching. He wants to know what's happening so that no one would see him, unseen. Each morning at daybreak, he watched Clyto walk over the pebbled ground, barefoot, and smiling to fill her water pot at the stream. So every morning at the daybreak, he would look at Clyto, who was walking on the pebbled ground. This is pebbled, meaning that it has rocks, okay? So she would walk over it barefoot. She wouldn't wear anything on her foot. There's no shoes or anything. She's bare, meaning that she's not wearing anything. And her foot. And smiling, she would smile to fill her water pot at the stream. Okay? So she would smile, she's happy with what she's doing. She would walk on the ground and she would fill the water pot at the stream. She's satisfied. So here stream is like the river. As you can see here, this is a stream. She would fill the water pot. Seeing Clyto in all her beauty, Poseidon's heart grew tender. And one day he stepped out from behind the rock to talk to her. So his heart grew tender, meaning that he became kind, okay? When he saw her, he was so kind, okay? And he stepped out from behind the rock to talk to her. When he saw her, he felt that he should be approaching her, should go to her and speak with her. Day after day he came, and slowly she began to return his love. Now, day after day, he came and slowly she began to return his love. Finally, she agreed to become his bride. So they started knowing each other, they got along together, and they loved each other. Finally, she agreed to become his bride. She then agreed that she would be his bride, meaning to marry him. Okay? Her parents, unaware of Poseidon's power, they didn't know that he had much power, that he's a ruler. Please replace the word here with power. Blessed the union, and a simple wedding followed. So they had their wedding, okay? And still her parents didn't know that Poseidon had power, that he's a ruler. Remember, we said that he's a ruler.